Okay, so it's just counting down and then we'll start. What's up, everybody? I want to welcome you guys to a fresh episode of The Real Deal with James. It's actually been about 3 weeks since we've been in because I kind of went hard with this podcast. I really just launched, as most people that are watching know, over maybe a month and a half ago, and in that time I've done 11 episodes. So I took a few weeks just to kind of do some other things, work on some stuff. But we are back, and I think we have an amazing guest with us today. I came up on an invention that he has out here that I know is going to help so many people. And of course, when I first saw it, I said, I need to get this guy on the podcast, and hopefully he will agree and come on to the show. So we have Mr. James A. Samuel Jr. Amazing man here. He has created an application that essentially, if you're pulled over by the police, it will capture video and transmit that video to your family and to your loved ones. I'm assuming that they would actually program the app to, to obviously know those family members and friends, right?
That's correct. Yeah, they have to preload their designated streamers. Those are going to receive their Angel stream.
Okay. So I think that's such an amazing invention. And obviously there's so much going on, so much racial injustice, so many things happening, especially with African Americans. So we need something like this that's going to be able to say this is what really happened versus what the police are saying, which most of the time we find out that is totally different than what really happened. What was the motivation behind, obviously, I mean, and I guess in essence, I know the motivation behind it, but what got you to this place where you said, okay, it's time for me to sit down and put this app together?
Hey, James, thanks. And man, thank you for the opportunity to be on your new show. So congratulations for launching and getting out there and doing it. There's a great quote by Johann Wolfgang von Goethe that basically says, whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it now. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now. And when you begin it, providence moves and a whole bunch of other things move that you couldn't have seen or foreseen ahead of time, and they all conspire. The universe conspires to support you in your action. Definitely. So I applaud you in that action, brother. That's awesome. And providence has moved me, right? The hand of the Almighty has been upon me and has just provided all kinds of connections and awareness and insight that, I can't claim to be my own. So I do definitely want to give all praise, honor, and glory to God above for, the insight and the protection and the provision. But we started working on, I say we, because I have a team, man. I mean, it's not just me, right? I mean, you're seeing and you're listening to me now, but I have an entire team that is amazing and is brilliant and is creative, right? And so that's what you're seeing as a result of a lot of teamwork. And so we as a team, Team Pluribus, and Pluribus is the name of the company. We made ANJEL Tech. ANJEL Tech is our first product, but Pluribus is the name of the company, right? That's the name of the corporation. We launched ANJEL Tech as fast as we could after what happened to George Floyd, right? After May of 2020, Memorial Day weekend, right? When he was asphyxiated, compressed, lynched, murdered, on that pavement. Mm-hmm. When that happened, we had already started thinking about and working on something like ANJEL. But when that happened, we were like, okay, this has to happen right now. And everything we were doing paused, and ANJEL became the thing that we launched immediately. And we got it in the App Store by October of 20. And we got it in the Google Play Store by late January, early February of 21.
Okay. As far as how difficult was it to put it together? Obviously, to come up with something that will actually stream it and, obviously send it in good enough quality that other people can, really make out what's happening and whatnot. And I think a lot of questions would be posed just in terms of, okay, well, if I have this on my phone and they see that I have my phone or they see that I'm recording, how do you speak to those things?
So two things, right? One is how hard was it to do? And the second thing is, how do you deal with someone who sees that you're recording them, right? The first question, how hard was it to do? It was not easy. Right? We had challenges. We had bumps along the way. The video resolution at one point was an issue for us. And so we had to change the bit rate, which it streamed, in order to make sure that it was smooth, and it looked like a flowing stream of video. So we had to kind of adjust some of the settings, in our streaming algorithms and processes. So that was a challenge for us. We thought we were going to have to go to a different resolution because right now it's streaming at essentially 480p. And we thought we were going to have to go to 1080, and go high def, and we had the option to do that, but we were able to fix the bit rate and the flow in order to make 480 sufficient, and that also lowered the amount of data we were sending, so it made the stream a little more responsive and faster.
Right.
And so I'm an engineer, right? I'm a telecommunications engineer, and so I have 32 years of experience as an engineer and as a Department of Defense, national security expert. And so going all the way back to the Air Force Academy where I did my undergrad work, and then information technology graduate degree, and then experience as an Air Force telecommunications engineer, both on the radio frequency side and transmission and doing network analysis and network engineering, and then on the cyber side as well. Before I went to pilot training and then flew jets, before I went into the intelligence community and managed big data sets and problems, especially handheld video and full motion video. So what you're seeing, James, is the compilation of 32 years of some of the best training, exposure, and education America and the world can produce in national security, now turn to solve problems in personal security spaces, right? So that's what you're seeing. And so my team and I all have very similar experience in that way. And so it wasn't easy to do, but it was easier for us, I think, than maybe others, because we have all that experience and that exposure to education. So we got it done, and that's how we were able to do it so fast, is because we were capable, right? So that's that, and I can talk to you all night about how hard it was and what were the challenges in making that happen, but we did it.
Right. Now, when you first launched it, what was available in the app at that time versus what we obviously get now? And again, I have downloaded it, so I've seen a little bit of it.
Yeah. So we're still on version 1, right? This is version 1.1.0 that's in Google Play, and it's 1.1.1 that's in the App Store, and they're basically the same app. But so for those who don't know, the Android operating system and the iOS operating system are two different operating systems.
Luckily, I have an idea. I've designed a couple apps before. I used to work for Apple, so.
Right. Okay. And so Apple and Google are two different animals.
Yeah.
So ANJEL Tech is available in both the Google Play Store and the iOS App Store. It's the same name. It's the same color scheme. And if you ever get them next to each other, they look almost identical, but they're actually two different apps because they're built in different code structures, right?
Right.
Different code base. And so that was a learning curve for us as well, because Apple does things a certain way and Google does things a different way. Android is a more open operating system, and it renders a certain way inside of the phones, and Apple is a more closed system, and it renders a different way, and then the way you compile the code and check it and test it and all that stuff is different. So it's really developing two apps, even though ANJEL Tech is available to both operating systems. It's really two different apps. And if you ever have a chance to put them next to each other on a Google phone and Apple phone and look at them, there are little bitty differences that I could point out to you that would show you that they're actually two different apps. They're not exactly the same, but they do the same things. So that's just that for the.
And I just downloaded it on Apple, so I actually have an Android phone too. So I'll download it on there and then take a look and see if I can kind of point out the differences. And
yeah, it's interesting. They're actually different, but they work. We tried to make them as seamless as possible so people would know that it's actually right. That's just a fit and finish kind of a thing. But yeah, that was a learning curve for us, and we overcame that through some trial and error and lots of iterations. But yeah, and I forget your original question, but yeah, it's two different apps, but they do the same thing in both stores.
Now, so I guess kind of break down to us how the app works. So I've downloaded the app. I'm coming down the road. I get pulled over by police.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I remember your question now. So I'll come up with the use case. I'll tell you how it's used in a second, right? Your question was what's available in this version that wasn't available in the first version.
Right.
So we're still on version 1.0, but what we've done is we've added a siren. It has a panic button now. So if you hit the siren, it makes a loud noise, and I can show you what it's like on my phone, and you can hear it, and whatnot. That's one thing it has in it now. When we first launched it, we also did some changes to some of the graphics, but not too many. The download feature wasn't there when we first launched it. Version 1.0.0 didn't have the download feature, and so you could stream it, but it stayed in the cloud. And then by version 1.0.4 or so, we put the download feature, so you could actually pull those files out of the cloud onto your phone. And just a few other small things, but for the most part, it works pretty much the same way we envisioned it and we first launched it. We've just refined that just a little bit. So how do you use it, right? Like you said, you're going down the street, you get pulled over. What you want to do is first find a place and a location that's safe for you to pull over. So I'm a former pilot, right? Or maybe once a pilot, always a pilot. I'm a rated pilot. So there's a saying in the aviation industry is aviate, navigate, then communicate. Fly the plane first. Make sure you're headed away from the ground and away from populated areas, away from vertical obstructions. Fly the airplane first. Then once you've flown the airplane, then the navigation should be a part of that. Are you going in the right direction? Are you going towards the field, away from the field? What's your next waypoint or whatnot? And once you're flying safely and you're navigating safely, then you can get on the radios and start to manage your traffic control, that kind of a deal. So in that order, you get them out of order, you get in trouble, right? You're not safe. So likewise, you're driving a car, drive the car, right? Make sure it's safe. Make sure you're pulling over in an area that's good for you, safe for you, well lit, all that stuff. If you need to go a little bit farther to make sure that's fine, a person on my team, I remember my team members, Rogers, said this because he's a former police officer. So we have police officers on the team, right? Former police officer. He said, hey, you can actually, and I didn't think about this, he says, you can actually call 911. If you're being pulled over, call 911 and let the dispatcher know, hey, this is my name. I'm in this vehicle. I'm on this road. I'm being pursued by one of your officers. I don't feel it's safe to pull over right here. So please, I'll put my hazards on. Please let the officer know that I am complying. You can call them in their car and let them know, hey, the person you're following on Route 80 or whatever, they know you're being pulled over. They're going to pull over. They're going to go down to the next exit or to a place where they feel it's safe to pull over. They're not running from you. They're just trying to find a place that's safe for both them and you to pull over to execute the stop.
I never would have even thought to.
Right.
I mean, as simple as that is,
Right. Game changer. Right. Game changer. So now the police officer's like, okay, so they'll probably turn their sirens off. They may leave their lights on, but they'll follow you safely. And then you get to a spot that's well lit and safe for both of you. And now you have a record, you have an audio recording on the police dispatcher system of you saying, I am complying and I'm trying to find a place that's safe. I don't feel that the road is well lit or there's not a good shoulder. I'm concerned about my safety and the officer's safety. So therefore, please, dispatcher, tell the officer, because you know what car it is, right? Yeah. So that's number one. So pull over in a safe place. And there's a tip for how to do that in case, if it may take a while for you to pull over. Just call 911 and tell them, hey, I'm going to pull over. I don't feel safe. And then after you pull over, car's in park, and you're doing everything normal, then, start the stream. Have Angel on your dash, in your cup holder, on your phone holder, on your windshield holder. Don't have it in your hand if you can help it, right? Make sure your hands are free and you're getting your registration and your proof of insurance, all that stuff. But go ahead and start that stream right as you pull over before the officer ever gets up to your window, and then have the phone pointed towards your window so it's recording, and then get all your stuff out and get ready for the officer to come up. And it takes them a minute to come up, right? But your stream has already told your family members that you need them. They know where you are, and they're able to watch that whole interaction, and they have a copy of that in the cloud they can download immediately of that entire interaction. The police, the first thing they say to you, how they interact with you, whatever, all that's being recorded, and you can tell the officer, like, hey, here's my, and this, they put my phone's on the dash. Hey, officer, this is recording this stop. We're in a public place, and for your safety and mine, I'm making a recording of this stop, but I'm complying with your commands or demands, whatever. And that way you're doing all you need to do to protect yourself and them.
Now, I guess the first thing that comes to mind, and obviously you wouldn't have any control over that at all, but what if they ask you to stop the video?
Well, that's where you need to know your rights, right? To know, in which state are you residing? Is it a one-party or a two-party consent state? That kind of a deal. But by and large, this is where, okay, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not giving legal advice here, but by and large, if you're in a public space, you can take out your cell phone and film. You're a public space, and for most places and states, a police officer doing their duty and their job as a public servant can be recorded, okay? And so you have a right. And sometimes some people actually say, no, officer, I have a right to record right now. I'm in a public space, and in this state, it is legal to record police officers doing their official duty. I'm complying with your every demand and requirement, but there's no reason for me to turn my phone off right now. This is for my safety and for your safety and for our mutual accountability.
I think it's amazing, man. I mean, obviously just hearing the basics and the details of the app, how to use it, and just thinking in your mind how much that can help for somebody to have a video in the cloud that they can download at any moment and use that if they feel like they need to use it. Like that's truly amazing. Um, I can think to myself just like even with George Floyd, like how something like that could have been helpful. Like how do you feel like that helps people the most? Obviously by having this app.
Yeah, if you look at each one of the names, right? You mentioned George Floyd. There's Breonna Taylor.
Yeah.
There's Ahmaud Arbery. There's Eric Gardner. There's Mike Brown. There's Trayvon Martin. There's Philando Castile. There's Freddie Gray. There's Dante Wright. I mean, we can just go on and on, just the names, right? Each one of those situations was different. No two were alike, to my knowledge. They all had little intricacies that make them slightly different. But I think the basic premise of them was all the same. That these instances, except for maybe Breonna Taylor, the victims, these names that we're talking about, they had a moment to understand that, hey, I may be in trouble here. Sandra Bland, she's being pulled over. Okay, why am I being pulled over? And the guy ran up on her. He forced her to pull over, change lanes without signaling is what happened down in Prairie View, Texas. Okay, He forced her on that Texas access road, and his tactic was, and he had done this numerous times. And if you get a chance to read the book, it's called Talking with Strangers, Talking to Strangers by Malcolm Gladwell. Phenomenal book, and it goes through this whole episode. Right, it's a great book. Listen to the audio version; you can actually hear Sandra Bland, in her podcast called Sandy Speaks, where she talked about incidents like this before she became the subject of her own podcast, essentially, sadly, tragically. But, you're in trouble and something's going wrong. Your spidey senses, your intuition, your gut saying, hey, this isn't right, or I'm being pulled over. I'm concerned about my safety, my well-being. Let me go ahead and start to record this. And let me send it to the cloud and let my folks know. So each one of those instances, the opportunity was there for the most part, by and large, except for maybe, like I said, the no-knock warrant with Breonna Taylor. She was sleepy. There's no way to see that coming. She had no idea. Right. Dante Wright saw it, but Amir Locke didn't. Amir Locke was also a no-knock warrant, right? So the no-knocks, that's a whole other problem set we could talk about. But for the most part, by and large, our technology is designed so that if you feel like you're in a dangerous situation or something's going awry and you feel for your safety or someone else's safety is at risk, start to stream that, not to your social media, but to your family using Angel Tech.
So I know it's a free download, and then you have various packages that are in there. Talk a little bit about the packages, and then the differences between what they can get.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's free to download Angel, and it's free to be a receiver and a viewer of an Angel stream. But if you're going to stream, if you're going to be a streamer who produces Angel videos, the Angel content that your family is going to consume essentially, then there's a subscription-based service for that. And so we have 9 plans right now. 3 of them have 30-day free trials. The individual plan, the 4-person family plan, and the 8-person family plan, I believe, have individual or 90 or 30-day free trials. So that way you can try it before you buy it. But yeah, the individual plan is about the price of a cup of coffee. Like, I don't know if you drink Starbucks or coffee or whatnot. A lot of people do, right?
Every day.
Those cups are more than $4.99 a cup, right? But for $4.99, you can have an entire month's worth of life-saving protection of Angel Tech as an individual, okay? And so the price of one cup of coffee, less than the price of a cup of coffee, you can have an entire month's worth of this life-saving technology, okay? So that's the context we kind of frame it in. And for a family of 4, it's $9.99 per month. And so at an individual level, that's less than $2.50 per person per month.
People spend that for Apple Music. Like, it's
right? Come on.
I mean, there's no way that you can, compare what you're getting out of this app and the service that you're offering to anything else. Like, this is something that is sorely needed. I think it's great.
It's very affordable for all that it's going to provide to you and your family, right? It's very affordable. I sometimes kid and joke with my team members and others about, it's essentially life insurance for, anything while black, right? Dog, walking, bird watching, driving, jogging, just your normal existence in America. I think the Childish Gambino framed it very well in his video.
And I mean,
It comes a threat.
You think of people like Ahmaud Arbery, like this is something that like truly could have helped him.
Yeah, from a couple different standpoints. One, he would have been able to show his friends and family that, hey, I'm not trespassing, I'm not stealing anything, as he was accused of that, right? I'm exercising, and here's why I'm exercising today, and I like to run and jog. Hey, there's a car that's following me now. I mean, hey guys, I don't want anything from you. I'm out for a run. Hey, I'm videotaping this. My family's watching it. They see your license plate is 4 Echo Bravo 2 Tango Charlie, and I don't want any trouble. I'm just trying to exercise, man. Just can I be on my way? Hey, you're blocking my road, And now people seeing that and knowing that you're recording, your family members are watching, and they're responding like, hey, my wife, my brother, and others, my mom will respond to my streams, and they'll let me know, hey, like today I did a stream, and my wife's like, hey, Nick, hey, Marty, I see you guys there. I had lunch with some guys. And so people are on notice, just like the cops are on notice. Like, hey, I'm recording this. My family's watching this. There is accountability that's happening in this very moment. You are, just like you see those signs, hey, smile, you're on TV, right? Or beware of dog, those warning signs are there to let you know you're being recorded right now, and it changes people's behavior, and it changes them for good and for our benefit.
Now you're still on version 1. Where do you see it going, obviously as you continue to grow, and like what other changes would you like to see in the app?
Yeah, there's an entire product roadmap, right? And we stepped through at least several other versions. There's several different product integrations that we're going to do to make it more integrated with wearable technology. There's smart devices that we're wearing these days, and there's lots of different activations these devices can do, activate the device, so that essentially if your body feels it's in distress, even if you may not recognize it, if your heart rate or your respiration or your perspiration or your O2 levels change significantly, there's ways to meter that, measure it, then the app can initiate its own sequence, to let your family know, hey, you're having a stroke. You don't know it yet, but your wearable technology knows you're stroking out right now, or you're having a heart attack, or your heart's palpitating, or whatever. So there's ways to integrate wearable technology with this life-saving device where your body can call for it through these technologies without you having to push a button.
That is huge, man. Like, do you know where this can go with that? Like, this is, well, obviously you do, but
no, we've already conceived of this, and we have some IP protection around it. We're working on some more of that, of course. But there's different integrations and activations, like I just mentioned. Wearable technologies is one. There are others that I won't get into now because I just.
But even just that piece of it alone, like, I've worked in the hospital up until this past Friday. I've worked in the hospital for 21 years, and this like you see people, and I work directly in the emergency room, and you see people constantly coming in who are having heart attacks and having strokes, or it's been going on for some time. Some people they had the stroke 2 days ago, and they just now were found. You see it so much, so to have something like that's amazing, man. Yeah, it's amazing what we can do with technology, but it's good to see you out here doing this. That's amazing, man.
Dude, we're brilliant, man. We are brilliant people.
I know, man. I know, but
right? And we can think of these things. We can do these things. We've been doing these things. We've been solving problems. We're masterful problem solvers because guess what? We're human beings, and I believe there's a standard normal distribution of genius and ability and insight across all humanity, no matter what color you are, whatever. Right? It's a normal standard curve. It's a normal curve, normal distribution. But then when you present a group with more problems, it's like, guess what? If you go to the gym and you have somebody that's lifting a few more weights than everybody else, after a while, that group is pumping a little more iron. They're going to be a little stronger, a little tougher. Their body's going to, through natural selection, is going to adapt to that environment. And it's going to produce stronger sinews and tissues and cartilage and all that. And they're going to be more fit for their environment. Yeah. Because we've been in this state of stress and duress and threat and problems for 403 years, we've developed some additional abilities to solve problems, to think critically. And that's why diverse teams are better problem solving, because you have all these different skills that come together to make the team stronger, especially those people that have been pumping weights a little bit longer than the others.
Right.
Okay. And so that's who we are, man. We have had to, out of necessity, just become better problem solvers.
Now, your company Pluribus developed this.
Pluribus, yep.
Okay. Now, what are there other apps or other programs that you guys are working on right now? I know you said that you kind of did a rush and you rushed to get this out there, but what other products are you guys working on?
Well, the company was founded based on a different technology, one in which Angel was included as a feature. And then when George Floyd happened, we pulled Angel out. And I don't know if I had named it at that point. Maybe. It was like February, March, about this time 2 years ago. And pulled it out and made it its own separate app to launch it all by itself. But ANJEL Tech and Angel as an app was originally a feature inside of another app that the company was founded upon to actually build and develop. And we're still working on that. But it's around a premise called identity-based navigation, that is navigating based on who you are, not just how fast you want to get somewhere. And so we're building that technology out, and Angel is a feature inside of that. We're still working on that. So yeah, we're gonna finish that. But we have lots of innovations. I mean, we're a very innovative company, so you'll see other technologies coming out and permutations, if you will, of our current technologies.
Okay. I love the fact. Again, I just say that I love the fact that you put this app together. I'm going to do some exploring and digging, since I downloaded it already. I'm going to kind of do some digging through it and just look at the different things that I can see. Like, I can even think of instances where I was pulled over and wished I had something. And I mean, luckily nothing happened, to the point where it was like, okay, I need video or I need this sort of thing. But I've been in those situations. My sister is an attorney, so I mean, I've gotten pulled over and called my sister right then, like, "Hey, I'm here. I'm at this corner. I'm pulled over. I didn't do anything, or I ran a light." They come into the car and just keep them on the phone or whatever, just so that they can hear what's going on. So I have been in that scenario, but to have something like this is monumental, man. Like it's amazing, and it's definitely needed in our community, just with the different things that's going on.
I appreciate that. I'll give you a little insight, James, since you brought it up. But a future version of our technology, we were already doing some of the research behind this in our R&D shop. But there's a couple things that we can do right now that we haven't done yet. We're thinking about when is the best way to do that. But there is a way that we can include text packets in the stream that allow people to actually text inside the app, so they can communicate through the app via text messaging. And we haven't activated it yet, but it's there, and we just trying to figure out the best way to deploy that. We're also looking at creating two-way streams to make it more like FaceTime, so that you can not only be seen by your loved ones, but you can see them. And that's another thing. And then when you think about that context, we're also considering how to tie that to a legal network, so that, like you called your sister, you could actually call your attorney and have a session with them in the app while it's being recorded as well. So there's lots of things we can do with the technology. It's just a matter of, it's not the will, it's just the timing. Some of it is, the funding, of course. These things are all not cheap to do. And so we have to be very deliberate about what we do and in what order.
I think this is really amazing for my audience, the people that, who will watch this. I think that they're going to find a lot of value, obviously, in knowing about this app and being able to download it. The fact that it's a free download and it's affordable. So it's not anything that's going to break the bank. And you obviously will have that instant protection where, somebody can see what's going on. For people who want to know more about it, I've been on the website, ANJEL.Tech.
That's one place. Go to angel.live as well.
Okay.
So we have really two websites.
Okay.
Technically, one's our website and one's our landing page or funnel, if you will. But angel.live has our testimonials out there.
Gotcha.
There's a couple of other things like the police call 911 tip I just gave you. There's a police blueprint, a police interaction blueprint that's available through angel.live that gives other tips and techniques like that.
Okay.
that people can actually go and get as well. And it's, you know, a few dollars for that as a download. It's a PDF. But yeah, go to angel.live. And that also gives a lot more of the justification and the rationale about the why behind what the service is and why it's so needed.
I love it, man. Thank you so much for taking the time out. Website, we got through that. Social media, anywhere they can find you as far as that?
At ANJEL Tech, Angel with a J, ANJEL
Right.
Tech, TECH. That's
Okay.
We're at ANJEL Tech on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'm out there on LinkedIn as well. We have a YouTube page, ANJEL Tech as well. So it's all ANJEL Tech.
Okay. Anything that you feel like you really wanted to get out there with the conversation today?
Yeah, there's another version of ANJEL Tech that I want to let folks know about, because ANJEL Tech, we're starting to get the word out about that, and that's just going to be a continual drumbeat, right? But there's also something called Angels in Campus.
Okay.
Angels in Campus is a campus security version of ANJEL Tech that works cooperatively with the Department of Public Safety at your university. It does everything ANJEL Tech does, but it also includes your Department of Public Safety when you choose to bring them into your stream and share your location with them. And we are marketing that to both corporations, because they have corporate campuses, but also colleges and universities with campuses to help increase the security capabilities of those colleges and universities. And so I want folks to know, if you're at a college or university and you're like, hey, I want additional campus safety at my college or university to make my college experience, my university, and my campus experience, corporate experience better, hit us up and let your college university know, hey, these guys will integrate with your security profile, and each student can have essentially this blue light kind of camera system in their pocket, right?
I actually was reading about the college aspect of it actually right before I talked to you with the HBCUs and whatnot.
Yeah. So that, I did a Medium post on that, did, some other social stuff on that. But I want people to know that that's available for their college campus, because college campus security and safety is a whole other animal. And especially for freshman females, it's a thing. It's a real security issue that they need to think about. And then the other thing I would tell people is, if your company or corporation has an employee resource group, an ERG, through your HR department or your human development department that says, hey, we purchase things for our employees like keychain flashlights or whistles or other things to make our employees' lives better, they can purchase a subscription. The company can purchase ANJEL Tech on an enterprise software license, and then your employees can log in with a special access code and have ANJEL Tech open up and work for them, and they don't pay anything because the companies pay for it. And so we have a special access code for companies through Angels in Campus.
I think that's amazing, because then, obviously if they have that, then that's something that they can use, when they're at work or on that campus and elsewhere too.
Yeah, use it at home, and you can get a family plan and keep your whole family safe, and your company's provided you with a resource now to make your life better.
I think that's amazing. So much for taking the time, man. I truly appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Folks can hit us up on our website, email us at info@angel.tech as well. And God bless you guys.